But what
No.
she's saying is, I am the contractor. I buy it. If it comes damaged, I'm responsible for going back to the material supplier and saying, hey, listen, this was damaged. If you buy the materials, then you're responsible for calling the supplier and saying, hey, this showed up and it was damaged. So that's something to consider when that's something that you're thinking about. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Chicks in Construction. I'm your host, Mickey Paradise, and this is my illustrious co-host.
Hi, I'm Jessica Abreu, and today we have a special guest for you. I would like to introduce you to Erika Salgado-Zemandi.
Ooh, she did good.
Hilltop.
She said it right, y'all.
Hilltop GC.
Hi, everyone. My name's Erika Salgado-Zemandi. She did an amazing job at this.
When I saw the name, I was like, I will not be introducing our guest. But I'm not really trusted to do that regardless.
No.
That's not on my bingo card.
No.
Adulting is hard.
It is.
For me. But so how did you guys meet?
So we met on Facebook.
As one does.
No, it was crazy. So we are always telling our homeowners that finding somebody on Facebook can sometimes lead to trouble.
Yeah.
So there was this woman who posted in a ladies group that she was looking for a contractor to do certain things in her home. And I put in there, well, please make sure that you are finding a licensed general contractor for the job. If it's over $40,000, please make sure that you look it up. Before you do any construction, like check out our podcast, Chicks in Construction, so that you don't end up like one of our horror stories.
Yeah. And if you don't follow our advice, then please go to chicksinconstruction.com and write in your horror story. She didn't say that, but I thought it.
Yes. When people have a horrible story, I say like, will you please share that?
Yeah.
Because we want to know.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to tell others.
I'm desperate to go to my neighbor's house with the pool. It is still ongoing. Like, this pool is never going to be done. It's the pool that never completes. And I'm just like, listen, neighbor.
Tell me.
I need to know what happened with this pool contractor. So, side quest.
Side quest.
Sorry.
We go on a few of those.
Sorry about that.
So, as one does when you post and comment on Facebook, you go through the comments just to see what everybody is saying. And I came across Erika posting that she was a licensed general contractor. And so I sent her a little, I slid right in the DM. Right. I was like,
She did.
I did. I'm like, hey, I would love to meet you.
I love Jess.
I have a podcast where I'm the co-host and we talk all about construction and we're chicks in construction. Well, you two are chicks in construction. I'm just, a homeowner.
By proxy, Jess is a chick in construction.
Yep. So that's how we met. And then we grabbed coffee one day and I got to find out more about her. And so now here she is to tell all of you about herself and her company and things that you should and shouldn't do and look for when you're hiring a contractor. So welcome so much. Thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me. Actually, I had met you before that.
So
FYI.
Pew, pew, pew. When did you guys meet?
So there was some kind of meeting or meetup in Fuquay. And so
Is it the name we shall not mention?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we met, but that was what, 4 years ago?
Yeah,
It
but
was the name
I don't think we actually truly met. I think I just saw you there, but I don't remember introducing myself or anything. But
so it doesn't
count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Oh, I can meet somebody and have an hour-long conversation with them and then not remember it. It's terrible. It is terrible. I've done that before where somebody's been like, Mickey, we've met 5 times. And I'd be like, oh.
See, I'll remember someone's face more than I'll remember the name. I'll be like, I know you from somewhere.
The chances I will remember your name are very slim. I will remember your face, but the chances that I'll remember literally anybody's name, Hector and I both are terrible at it. It's great when one person in the relationship is like, oh, I'm a whiz with names. It's bad when we're both like, wait, what?
I don't know.
There have been so many times where Hector and I have met somebody and they were a delight. And we were just like, oh, that great person's so great. They told us our name. and then walked away. And we both looked at each other and said at the same time, well, what did they say their name was? And it's like, damn it. We're terrible at this. I don't know what that means about me, but listen, it probably isn't good.
It means something.
It's probably not great. So how did you get into construction? Like, give us your origin story.
All right. So I'll take it back to when I was a kid.
Okay. All right.
Well, my dad was a stone brick mason.
Oh,
so
awesome.
he had experience working with general contractors and stuff and all the horror stories from the subcontractor's perspective. So there's that part. I got to see the things that he dealt with and all the troubles that he went through.
Yeah.
And so, but I was like, I'm never going to do this. Why?
Yeah.
Construction, blah. I don't want to.
Famous last words.
And so, went to school for public health with the goal to become a PA.
Okay.
Then decided against it. I wasn't going to spend enough time with my child.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can only imagine.
Oh yeah, no. I do love, health. I do love public health and all that. But, and so that kind of, I incorporated that a little bit into my next step, which was becoming an investor, a real estate investor.
Okay.
And so I would go in, fix up these houses that were like completely destroyed and even people living in them in terrible, terrible situations. So I was like, okay, I guess this is my way to do a little bit of public health in a sense, right? To provide a place that doesn't have mold.
Right. Yeah. The little things.
Yes. And so that's how it all started. And then I realized that if I wanted to scale with my investments, I had to control a big portion of it, which was the construction, the general contracting part of it.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. So how long have you been in business?
The general contractor or?
Give us the both.
Okay. So I started real estate investments about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so worked up a portfolio of rentals and some flips, mostly rentals.
Yeah.
But all of these houses, again, they needed a lot of work. And so that's where I've mostly done most of my business. But I was managing these projects myself, and I'm talking about down to the studs, complete rewires, all of the big ticket items.
Right.
And so that's when I kind of decided to go ahead and get my GC license. And so we've been technically just started.
Oh, okay.
Just about a month ago. That's when we kind of rolled everything out. I've had my license now since last year, but I hadn't really done anything with it, but just do my own stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but the business itself, Hilltop GC, we started about a month ago.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yes. Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
So it's really cool because you have the experience of being a general contractor, but also of hiring, I'm assuming, a lot of general contractors. And so it kind of gives you, like, when you we have some questions. So listen, I know, I hear you. Sometimes when we've had guests in the past, we may or may not have given them the opportunity to actually say words. And when I say
one of us,
I mean me. So this time I was like, we're not doing that again. And when I say we, I mean me. We have a script. So we're going to ask some questions, but when you're answering the questions, I definitely want you to give your perspective as a general contractor, but also from like that investment, you've used a lot of different contractors, a lot of different trades. So your experience from like both sides, I think is really important. So you want to ask the first question? Jess?
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, oh, yeah, that's me.
Of course.
She's not going to ask herself a question. Jess is going to do it.
I'm going to do it. That's my job. I'm the co-host. Here we go.
We're doing it.
How do homeowners...
This is about like picking a good general contractor. So we kind of have like some topics and some questions around that just so you guys know.
All right. So how would homeowners know who to trust? Like, how do you think that you could find a general contractor that you can trust that's going to do the job right?
Okay, I think a general contractor should have, and again, I just started a month ago, but I do have a track record of the projects that I've done before, and so they should have some kind of track record. it's not just about going to get your license and calling yourself a general contractor. You have to have some kind of experience there.
That's so weird. It feels like something we've said on this show before. Experience. Like you don't just wake up one day and decide you're a general contractor? Huh. Amazing.
You would be surprised.
No, we wouldn't. Unfortunately, we wouldn't. We get so many emails from people that just, this person just woke up one day. So yes, that is such good advice.
Yeah, so definitely have some kind of track record, be able to prove that you have, projects. And also, whenever you are quoting or doing an estimate, a lot of contractors will try to use big words and they'll try to use like codes and of course you should use codes, right? But they'll try to like over explain to clients that terms that they may not understand.
We're actually getting a lot of those comments in the homeowner horror stories. And I'm starting to wonder, like, is it a red flag that somebody does not use layman's terms? Like, the last 4 or 5 homeowner horror stories have all said the same thing. How they just they were using these big words and these construction terms, and the person had no idea what they were talking about, but they felt insecure to say, hey, I don't know what that means. So they just kind of rolled with it. And it seems like it's something that contractors do to make themselves seem like they know all the things. And I mean, it's important you do know all the things, but it's kind of says to me, all right, if you don't know how to speak to homeowners, I think that's a red flag. If you don't know how to kind of dial the construction language down to make it more layman term friendly, seems to me like that is a bit of a red flag. It's coming up more and more. Yeah,
of course. It's like going to a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And you sit there and they're telling you all these big words and you're like, what the heck?
Right. Like I couldn't spell that gun to my head.
Yes. Same thing. Make sure that you're understanding that the homeowner is understanding everything and definitely a very clear scope of work.
Yeah.
Detailed with, with everything that should be in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what do you think are like 3, what we would refer to as a green flag? Like, yes, this is a good sign when you're interviewing with a contractor.
Again, going back to a clear scope of work, making sure that they are telling you that they are presenting you with a clear scope of work and everything that has to be done. Another green flag, having our license.
Yeah. List the little things, y'all. It's the little things.
Having a license and making sure that they are the actual, they're not a, what do they call them?
Qualifier.
They are, I'm a qualifier for Hilltop GC, right?
Yeah, but they're not just the right? Is that what it is? Or they're not?
So you want to be dealing with the person who's name is on the line.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because like if I'm and listen, and I think in bigger general contractor companies, it's probably more common that you're not dealing with the license holder. That I think that happens. But if you've never met the license holder, I think that's a little bit of a problem. I think if the license holder is like does the books, that's a little bit of a problem. So it depends on like what that person's role in the company is. And to be fair, I know of a very reputable remodeling general contractor, and one of their designers holds their license. Yeah. So she's the qualifier. But listen, designing is not child's play. Like when you're like when you know how to use CAD and you can like create these 3D renderings and you're like, you know enough about construction to be able to put an entire house together in a 3D rendering. I feel like that's a little bit different than somebody that does the books. So it depends on who you're kind of dealing with, but these are really good points.
Yes.
I think I'm also referring to, those folks that will lend their license out.
Yeah, license lending.
So so that's make sure that you're dealing with the actual company that's doing this and not somebody borrowing, their license.
Yeah.
So green flag. Just make sure
that they are themselves.
And red flag if it's not them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
So I feel like when we did those green flags, we kind of got to the red flags too.
Yeah.
We have all the flags flying, okay?
We've got
people?
red flags, we've got green flags.
You got that red flag guy flying in the background.
So what would you say is your number one biggest red flag for like shady, for like when somebody's picking a general contractor to avoid the shady, what do you think like the biggest like absolute not is?
So if I were the client, okay, as a client, if a general contractor is coming in and you know, talking to me, I think it's overpromising. When they're overpromising for, you know, oh yeah, like in their timelines, sometimes their timelines can be like, oh yeah, we can definitely get this done in a week. And then like 3 months later, you know,
they haven't even started.
We're waiting for the materials.
That's a good point. Timelines, overpromising. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And how many bids do you think homeowners should get for their projects?
Again, from the other side, I would definitely consider 3 bids.
Yeah.
3 bids.
We say like at a minimum 3, but we feel like the secret sauce is 4 because I feel like 3 gives you low, medium, high, but 4 gives you that, okay, this is what helps me know what low, medium, high is. It's like that equalizer of like, okay, so it gives you a more robust knowledge of numbers. Now, I will say, we get a lot of pushback on that. People get so mad when we say that. But like, the other thing too is sometimes you have to pay for estimates. And I think you should pay for estimates. I think when you're doing a project for your house and it's pretty substantial, it should be in your budget to pay for estimates because nobody should be working for free. You know, if you know that you're using you're interviewing 4 different contractors. They're all going to spend time to meet with you, to work on your estimate. I think you should be willing to pay. And I think that should be part of your budget. One of the things that came up on a panel that I was talking at was they were like, well, you know, what do we do if, you know, they all charge and the one says, oh, if you use me, we can put the cost of the estimate towards your project. Yeah, that's great. You're going to go with one that does that, but you're going to have to pay a couple of people for estimates. And I think that should just be part of your budget. That's personal opinion. All right, so we're going to move on to pricing. With that being said, this is perfect roll into the quote. So why can 3 contractors quote the same kitchen and have wildly different numbers?
It could be materials. You know, somebody might be using way cheaper materials than somebody else, so that could be a drastic difference. And it could also be the quality of work. I mean, the more expensive ones, well, not always, but sometimes the more expensive ones tend to not cut corners as much as the less expensive ones. So definitely, you know, some people are just trying to get in there and get out as soon as possible and make their money without looking into the quality of the job and all that. So I think that's why some prices can be different. Yeah.
One comment that we get a lot on Instagram is, oh, everybody goes, they ended up in this situation because they went with the cheapest number. I think it's really important to understand that yes, I think some people can intentionally choose the cheapest number because they don't understand that you get what you pay for, especially in construction. But I think also sometimes people go with the cheapest number because, one, they didn't get multiple bids. So a lot of times it's very infrequent, actually, that somebody writes in and they had a horrible experience and they got multiple bids. It does happen, but I would say 90% of our homeowner horror stories, they just went with the first number that they got. So I think that's something to note. But I think the other thing is if you don't get multiple bids, then you don't know what's low. So we just did a story last week of somebody who just wanted to replace her countertops and do a backsplash. And they'd quoted her $17,000, which I thought was crazy high. But up north, it's probably low. Like it's regional, depending on where you are. It depends on the type of materials you select. So how would you know whether something is really low unless you had multiple bids? And to your point, a lot of people can find themselves, you know, with these crazy different numbers. And I think it does get really confusing, but I think it's really about that level of detail too, like in the estimates. How much detail are they giving you? Are they telling you exactly the materials? Are they telling you how much time they're estimating this takes? Are they telling you how much supervision you're going to have on a project? All of that costs money. So when you go with the lowest number, like honestly, you're rolling the dice, but you're also saying, hey, it's fine. I understand you're not going to show up on this job. Like I'm probably never going to see you again. I'll see the subcontractors you hire, but I'm only going to talk to you on the phone. So it's one of those things about understanding that you get what you pay for.
And also, I think a very important part of this is how set up is that person's business. For example, we could charge, a certain percentage for overhead because our business requires that, because we have insurance, because we have all these things that we have to cover on our end, versus somebody could be cheaper because they may not have those things.
100%. That's
So
a really good point.
they're not including that into the
They're not planning on paying taxes, so they're not putting that there, because you have to think about that, right? Like we have to pay taxes on every dollar that we make. So in all of my estimates, I've got the percentage that I'm going to pay in taxes. I don't work to just pay the government and not have money at the end of the day. So it's like when you hire me, I'm going to pay my taxes, which is, I don't know, to some people important. So that's the other thing. It's like, that lowest bid, you're foregoing a lot of things like overhead that covers insurance, it covers taxes. So that's a really good point.
What are some common surprises that show up in the cost of remodels?
In the cost of remodels, I mean, anything behind the walls.
Yeah.
Once you start taking those walls out, you're gonna find issues: water damage, termite damage. We've dealt with a whole lot of stuff, especially again with these heavier remodels that we've done. Once you start taking stuff out in the bathrooms.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole mess.
I feel like bathrooms, like kitchen sinks and doors, like entry doors where water could get in. We always find like subfloor damage at a back door or a front door. Like there's always something weird at a door.
Or where the water heater is.
Oh, where the water heater is. Yep.
Yes.
Dude, the fact that some people have their water heaters in their attic is like, why God? Like, who hated you? All right. This is not on our question, but I feel like I need to ask. Something that is happening over and over and over again in the homeowner horror stories that we're getting is when a general contractor fails an inspection, they turn around and charge the homeowner for the cost to fix it. Tell me your thoughts on this.
I don't think that makes any sense.
Thank you. You heard it here.
We did not even prep her for that.
That's not even a question on our list.
So, tell us more.
My first thought was like, WTF, I'm not going to cuss. I promise. I'm not going to say
it. You're fine.
Joe will bleep it out if it's a bad one.
But no, I mean, it's not the customer's responsibility.
Right.
That is completely on the general contractor to get, if it's something that they've subbed out or some other trade, electrical, whatever, they have to fix it. They're responsible for fixing it. Ultimately, if their subs don't fix it, then it's on the general contractor. They have to find a way to, to get it fixed. But ultimately, it's not on the client. There's no way I would charge a client for that.
And I also feel like we need to come up with a term. It's like some sort of double dipping, because like in reality, as a trade, I don't expect to get paid. Like if I do something that causes you to fail an inspection and then I have to fix my work in order for you to pass, I know that I'm not getting paid to do that work because I should have done it right the first time. So I know if I want to do work with you again, I have to come and fix that for free. Mm-hmm. So when a general contractor turns around and says, oh, hey, homeowner, it's going to cost $3,100 to fix this, I feel like it's a total scam because they know they're not paying that sub that they hired. That sub's coming back to fix it so that they can get their next job. So it's a total scam. And yet I think every single one for the past 6 or 7 podcast shows have been.
Yeah, people must
they
hear
failed
it.
the inspection.
That happened to me too.
Yes. And they turned around and they told me I needed to pay for it. And here's what I'm just saying. We're saying absolute no. And this is so triggering to people on the internet.
It is.
They go crazy. Because I feel like this is a way that a lot of shady general contractors are making their money. Is every single time they fail, turning around to the homeowner and saying, oh, okay, now it's going to cost this much. And the answer is, no, you should have done it right the first time. Let me know when you've passed that inspection.
Yeah, no, there's no way. There's no way. I can't believe people are actually doing that.
Yeah.
But also, it also depends in what if the homeowner is adamant about something that's, that isn't going to pass inspection. Like what if
talked
they,
about that.
yes, what if they ask you for something, like, what do you do then?
I feel like, well, what do you do? I mean, I can answer it, but you tell me since you're the guest on the show.
I wouldn't do it. If it's not up to code, I would not do it.
Thank you. And that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've talked about like, hey, I think in the last episode we talked, it was like, if somebody's got a gun to your head, no homeowner, I think, is going to push that hard for you to do something that's wrong. However, if you did make that contractor's life impossible until they did something and they've told you 1,000 times that this is not going to pass inspection, and then it doesn't pass, well, yeah, then homeowner, you're paying for that.
And if I was a contractor,
thing is, I wouldn't do it.
No. But like, I feel like if the contractor felt like they had to do it because like the homeowner was pushing and pushing and pushing, write a contract that says, I'll do this for you. I'm telling you it doesn't pass inspection.
When you make people put things in writing, it changes the whole vibe.
If it doesn't pass inspection and we have to redo it, you're the one paying for it, ma'am.
Then,
or sir. I mean, let's be honest.
It could be either one. It could be either one. It's funny because, so in drywall, especially in what we do in multifamily construction, you have to hang drywall from the top down because it's about load, like how the load disperses on the floor. So when like trusses sit, they're kind of like this, and then when the load gets put on them, it goes like this.
Okay.
So if you hang from,
she's doing a little teepee.
I'm
for
doing
those
a
of
little
you
teepee with
who
my
can't
fingers.
see.
It's kind of imagining like something flattening out. So when you hang the drywall bottom up, the ceiling boards, as you load the drywall on the floor above, and then you hang it on the walls, the ceilings go like this, and it will pop every joint in the ceiling floor on the first floor, like as you go up. So the only ceiling that won't have that problem will be the top floor because it's not getting any load above it. I've never hung bottom down. We only hang top down because when a contractor comes to me and says, you need to hang from the bottom up, I then provide them with a letter that they have to sign saying, hey, if you do this, we're not going to fix all the popped seams on the floor. We're not going to warranty the ceiling. Absolutely nobody signs that. And they all hang from the top up, like top down. Like it's just how it goes. So yes, that's a really good idea. Being like, hey, this isn't going to pass inspection but to be perfectly honest, I don't think I would do it. I think like
most contractors probably wouldn't, but like if you were in like $1 million home,
most responsible contractors would just be like, no, like we had a situation where somebody approached us once and they wanted us to do a renovation, and it was a major renovation without pulling permits. And I was like, nope. I'll lose my license. Absolutely not. So like, that's the thing is like, I'm not going to do something that I know is going to fail inspection. I don't care how bad you want it done. But I guess for the contractors that are more people friendly, that's a good one.
Or like if they're just like, because I know that there are some homeowners that are just very particular about things that they must have. All right, so let's talk about timelines. What is a realistic timeline for a kitchen, a bath, an addition, or like when you're getting a whole house? Like what is realistic for each of those?
I mean, it depends on the square footage and how big and all that. Each project's going to be different, but you're talking about a month or two, to get something like that done.
An addition, way more. Like,
so like a kitchen remodel.
Yeah, like a kitchen remodel, maybe like a bathroom. But if you're talking about an addition, I mean, you have to go through inspections. You have to, the whole process, the whole permitting process, inspections, and all of that. So that takes a while. So several months into that.
Yeah. What do you think about guaranteed timelines? Like, does that make you nervous when somebody, or you did talk about that. You were like anybody that overpromises on the schedule. Yeah.
So guaranteed time, anything can happen. I mean, weather, you can't control something. So anything can happen. And as long as there's clear communication and there's, there's constant communication with the clients, you should be good, but obviously make it reasonable. Yeah. Like a reasonable timeline. Don't say it's going to take you 10 months to do a kitchen remodel. That's not reasonable.
No, I agree.
Nor would anybody want to hire somebody to come do.
Don't live in that house. Yeah. And what's sad is a lot of, I think almost all of our homeowner horror stories, not a single one of them have met the schedule. I think there was really only one where it was delayed, but it was because the guy wasn't planning on getting permits, and she kind of insisted, and it slowed things down a little, which kind of made getting permits sound like the problem. But the problem was that permits weren't factored in the first place. So like, yes, it did slow things down because doing the things the right way can sometimes do that. People don't cut corners for funsies. I mean, I think some people do, but like there's a reason people get into habits like that, because they did pull permits once and it cost the job 10 extra days or 20 extra days or whatever it was, because you have to call the inspection in. The inspector has a couple of days to come out. Then they could fail you. So it's one of those things where it's like, it could go either way. So listen, now we're going to get into my favorite part, and that is money. So what is your deposit rule for your company?
So right now we're doing and it may seem a little bit high for some, but it's a 40-40-20.
Okay.
So 40 up front because materials are expensive.
Yeah.
And it obviously depends on the type of project as well. And then we do halfway 40. And then at the end, once everything's completed, it's the 20%. Now we may change it as we go along, but so far it's worked out for us.
I will be honest. We do not recommend people pay over a 20% deposit. Now, I think it's for a lot of reasons. To be fair, obviously you guys are just starting out.
Yes.
So I think like it's fair to say you guys are growing up to having more cash flow. But one of the things we've seen is when anybody asks for more than 20%, it just, the stories that we get, it does not end well. Now, obviously we're getting a very biased subset. Like people have already had a bad experience. And so when they're writing in, like, we're kind of queuing it up to us only getting stories about people having bad experiences. And
most of those are 50 or more.
Oh yeah. 50,000 or more?
No, 50%.
Oh, 50% or more.
50% or more deposits.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely, like, I think we just did one and it was like they wanted 70%. It wasn't a huge contract amount. So like what they were asking for was almost the entire total. So I wanted to mention it because we do always talk about 20%, but I think what's important, like, I'm sure your contract has a lot of your contract is very clear.
Yes.
What kind of language do you guys have like in your contract about like for the payment schedule?
I mean, there is that if we can put a date to it, we will.
Okay.
But again, dates kind of shift a little bit, but we try not to make it too vague, make sure that it's very specific about it. And it also depends, the 40-40-20, it depends. For example, if we're going to do like a deck, that's going to take us a week to do.
Yeah.
You have to buy all of your material up front, so that kind of covers that. But if we're doing like a big renovation that's going to take months, of course, we're going to be we work with our, we'd be willing to work with our clients as far as that. But yeah, no, I think it's a very good point that you made, no more than 20%, because a lot of people will run away with that money.
Yeah, and that's the hard part.
Not.
She will not. We would never let her on the show.
You guys know where to find me.
Yeah, that's right.
We will find you.
100%. And I think that's something that happens with experience. But we started out not sure what a fair deposit was. And after just almost 2 years of the podcast, we're like, okay, we haven't yet seen a 20% deposit end badly. And one thing that was really interesting is we had somebody on the show once that said she charged 50% deposit, which was, I almost swallowed my teeth. I'm not going to lie. When we asked her what her reason behind that was, she said, because the homeowner needs to have skin in the game. And I was like, the homeowner owns the home. That's all the skin they need. So
they have all the skin in it.
What I like about this is you're not saying, hey, we want 40% because the homeowner needs, to have skin in the game. You're saying, we're asking 40% because it helps cover the cost of materials. And that actually we do make some concessions for, like in our 20% rule. Yes. It depends on what, like we had a situation where I renovated a kitchen and we had to buy the cabinets up front. So in situations like that, the 20% is not going to cover the cabinet. So it's a 20% plus the cost of certain materials that have to be ordered in advance. Is there anything... Because one of the things we've talked about with our audience is the importance of like protecting yourself. So like, would you allow your clients to pay for the cabinet? So like if a client was really hesitant to say, oh, I don't know about paying this plus, this amount is large, would you say, okay, listen, I'll give you the number to my cabinet supplier, just pay for the cabinets yourself. That way the money is not exchanging, hands into my hands. Like, would you be okay with that? Or is like, what's the holdup if there is one?
I would be willing to do that.
Okay.
As long as they, there's something signed that I'm not responsible for the materials.
Okay.
For that specific material that they get, and they they have it on site on the time that we need it.
Oh, that's a really good point.
That's important. So you cannot order it until the day before and then be like,
That's a really good point. So I think that is where a lot of people are hesitant to allow, because what we found is homeowners that have been burned, which listen, there's a lot. They're hesitant to even remodel their house because they've had such a bad experience. And so we're kind of trying to come up with like ways for people that have had bad experiences to mitigate that level of risk that they feel. So one of them is when when you have a large piece of equipment or you like the cabinets or whatever that has to be purchased in advance. If you purchase them yourself, then you own them. So if the contractor ends up walking, it's fine because you paid for them. So it's like they can take your material. I mean, they can, but that's theft. So that it's cool that you're like, I would be willing to, with these caveats. They need to be here on this time, and I'm not taking responsibility if they're damaged. And that's something for our audience to be aware of. Like, when you pay the contractor, if they're responsible, because how many times have we had stories where the contractor damaged the equipment or damaged the materials and then turned around and told the homeowner to pay for it? But what she's saying is, I am the contractor. I buy it. If it comes damaged, I'm responsible for going back to the material supplier and saying, hey, listen, this was damaged. If you buy the materials, then you're responsible for calling the supplier and saying, hey, this showed up and it was damaged. So that's something to consider when that's something that you're thinking about.
I mean, as an investor, I buy all my materials.
Yeah.
So I have everything scheduled out. I make sure that the guys have, they're going to be doing the work. They have everything that they need to do that work. And so I understand the homeowner from that perspective of having that control over their materials. But if it's going to be something that they're trying to purchase that's going to delay us for whatever reason, or then, it's kind of like, we got to take care of it.
Yeah. And the other thing too is it, like, depending on how many kitchens or like whatever materials are that a contractor buys a lot of, they're going to get a better price on. So the reality is we purchase millions of dollars of drywall a year. The chances that you're going to be able to go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or wherever, even to my supply yard, and get the kind of pricing that I'm getting on drywall is 0%. It's 0%. That's a homeboy or a home gal is going to walk in and get the same pricing it's not going to happen. I buy too much. So that's one thing to consider too. Are you missing out on a potential discount of materials if you go and you buy them yourself? Now, in a small remodel, I would think no, but if it's a pretty large remodel, that's also something to consider as well.
It's just easier just to have the contractor do it.
It is, but if you have trust issues, that's one way where you can kind of grab a little bit of that control back. And like, same thing, I buy all my own materials because I have that kind of connection where we can get good pricing. We can negotiate our pricing down because we're in the industry. So it's a double-sided coin. All right. So we're going to move on to design and value.
Ooh.
Go ahead. Do you want to do the first one?
Sure. What upgrades bring the biggest ROI?
Which is return on investment, guys.
Return on investment.
So I've dealt with a lot of appraisers. Being that,
in the investment world.
In the investment world. Kitchens, bathrooms, definitely. In some outdoor areas could also be a really good one, but definitely kitchens is probably like one of the first.
Is there like one thing in a kitchen that you're like, do this every time and it's guaranteed to hit?
I mean, it has to look aesthetically pretty, but also because for example, for me, when somebody goes to buy one of the houses that I've done, the first thing they're going to go look at is the kitchen and make sure that it looks nice and it's something that's going to be functional for them. But cabinets is a big one.
Yeah.
And just the countertops, all that stuff, all the finishes.
We had a realtor / GC in once that said that when you, like, if you have one of those split sinks, if you rip out the split sink and you just put in like the one
kind of like the farmhouse one.
Well, farmhouse, but not necessarily like farmhouse, but yes, like the one where it's
big
just
sink.
Yes.
a giant sink. She was like, every time, because she's working more on like this person's trying to sell their house. They want to get the best, amount of money when they sell it. And she says every single time it will go at or above asking just by swapping out the sink. And I'm just like, damn, that is impressive.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you would not think about. You're just like, oh, the sink. But now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah.
I mean, lighting and plumbing finishes as well. People like to see whenever they go into that kitchen, they like to see that, like, the nice faucet and all that.
That's true. It's so funny. So one of my neighbors, several houses down years ago, renovated their house. And I think it was like a flipper that did it. And oh my God. So they went with gold finishes, like
shiny gold?
the faucets. Well, they didn't match each piece of, they didn't match the same gold. So there was like champagne gold, and then there was like satin gold, and then there was like bright in your face gold. And I was like, what have you done? It was so bad. The people who ended up buying the house gutted it. They were just like, this is terrible. It was a newly renovated house, and it was done so badly that the people moved in and were like, this is going to cost $100,000.
The person who did it must have gone to like the sales aisle at like Home Depot and was like, these are all gold.
Very much like they bought whatever was on sale. Like they weren't the same brand. They weren't the same machine. They were not even the same color of gold. And I was like, what have you done?
Now, how about in the bathroom? Are you still doing like shower tub situations, or is it more just like the big shower and forgetting the tubs?
So because from my investor perspective, I'm going in more for like the first time home buyers, kind of like a lower entry point. So we're still doing the tub, we're still doing the tiled showers, or so we're still doing all of that. But if I'm gonna go into a homeowner and obviously whatever they want to do, typically it's looking like a freestanding tub with like a
100%.
huge shower.
Yes, I can't live without my tub. I know that it's a thing that most grown-ups don't take a bathtub. No. They don't take a bath. That's all I do. I take a bath. Somebody was like, you must have been French in a past life. I must have been the king of France. I was as French as the French get, because I'm still here for a bath. So when people rip their baths out because they want a bigger shower, I'm like, that's a crime.
Oh no,
it's a crime against humanity.
I can't wait to get rid of mine.
Jess is like, I'm working on it actively. Please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
So Jess can get rid of her bathtub.
Please.
That's amazing. Okay, so what do homeowners overspend on in a remodel?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a spicy question.
Yeah. What do they overspend on? I mean, I know everybody wants for it to look aesthetic. I mean, the aesthetic process of it, but oh man, that's a hard one. Because in my mind, it's not like overspending it if you're enjoying it.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think it depends on what the purpose of the remodel is. If this is like my house in North Hills, I'm going to die in that house. So anything I do is like for me personally. It's not like, oh, I'm planning on selling it one day. So my first thought was, depending on what you're doing it for, I think that drives. Like if you're doing it because like this is the house I'm going to die in, I don't think there's anything. If you want it and you can afford it, do it. But if it's something where it's like we're doing this to try to sell the house to get the most amount of money out of it, I think the thing that people overspend on is really personal touches. Like you love a very specific type of brand of whatever appliances. just because you love a bajillion dollars of appliances does not mean that the person coming in behind you is going to. So I think it depends on what you're remodeling for. Like if you're doing it for yourself, like do you, boo? Do you?
Yeah.
But if you're doing it to sell it, then it's like you have to kind of consider like the person that's coming behind you.
Want to know what I would spend too much money on?
What would you spend too much money on?
The detailed tile.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, because like I walk into places and I'm like, oh, this is so pretty. And it's like the littlest, tiniest pieces of tile.
Tile can cost you $1 million.
And so like, I know that you don't need these cute little pieces of tile and like to make it all pretty.
Don't need it, but
I like it. But I have a husband who is
absolutely not. Brad is like, we don't even need tile. We could just put up, like, we could do a good coat of paint on it and it's fine. We can wipe it down.
That peel and stick.
Yeah.
Stick
Oh,
tile.
Brad would 100% put peel and stick tile up if it was affordable.
yeah. Even that, I wouldn't be able to have the pretty kind. I would have to be the.
Like I saw this tile and it was Carrera. It was like the hexagon Carrera marble, and the grout was more tile, but it was gold. So I was like, stop my beating heart. And then it told me how much it was, and I was like, never mind. Thank you.
It really stopped.
Tile can destroy your budget, which is why we have a lot of designer friends that don't encourage their clients to go to the tile place. They're like, come to my office and I will present you with options.
Here are the 4 options.
Because if you go into the tile place, the budget just got blown.
Yeah, it's me. It's because of me.
It's Jess. Jess is the problem.
I'm the problem.
And that's why that question stopped me a little bit, because it's kind of like, if you enjoy it and if you want it in your house, go ahead and do it.
If you can afford it, do it.
But in one of my investment properties, because they are first time home buyers, I'm not gonna go and put like marble on something that I'm not going to get the return on.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to look at the comparables in the area. What are the houses selling? What price are they selling for? What are the materials that are being used in that area? And I'm going to base it on that.
Yeah. I think if you're ever planning on selling your house, like you have to pay attention to, you don't want to be the most expensive house in the neighborhood unless you're planning on dying in it. Because you're never going to be able to sell it. If you overdo your house, you can sell it, but you're not going to get the amount of money that you put into it back. And there's certain things that the return on investment takes a really long time, like swapping out your windows. It's really important for like the safety of your home, for the energy efficiency of your home to have good windows, but they spicy priced. And so like we swapped out our windows like 10 years ago, and our windows are great, and our electricity bill is mildly affected by it, but like it's going to take a long time for like that value to like be recouped. All right, so let's move on to the fun segment.
Yes, I was like, let's get to the fun.
All right, what's the craziest request you've ever gotten?
The craziest request I've ever
from like
gotten.
a homeowner or a client, or even like somebody buying one of your investment properties?
Honestly, lately it's been, can I use your license to build my house?
Oh my God. No. The answer is no.
Wow.
You cannot.
Can you pull the permits and I'll take care of the rest?
What?
No, not gonna happen.
Interesting. So
is that crazy?
That is crazy. No, that's 100%. Even Joe says that's crazy.
Oh my God. I mean, can we have this list of contractors who are looking for it?
I'm like, I don't even know what to say to that, because I'm like, so I've had my general contractor license for like, I don't know, like a decade, and I don't think I've had a single person be like, hey, can you just pull the permits?
Well, probably because you're more in commercial.
One, I'm more in commercial. Yeah, but I think also they know that I would be like, do you want to die?
They know that you have that gun.
They know I'm crazy, and they're just like, that's not one to mess with. So I'm like, well, but wow, that's a big one.
Yes.
And
yes.
I part of me is like, I get it, but at the other hand, it's like, so the time that it took me to study and to pass this test, that's of no value to you. Like, even if they're willing to pay to use your license, it's like, no, why don't you just pay me to be your general contractor?
Yeah, they're not trying to pay that percentage. They just want to pay like a flat fee for for me to pull the permits, and then they can. Now, they do have some experience. I don't know them like that, but they do have some experience in the construction world. But I will still.
Well, if you have experience, go get your license. Like, come on. That's annoying. All right, this one is one that gets under my skins. What's your biggest HGTV myth? Like, what is it that everybody's like, oh, I saw this on HGTV and it cost $2. And you'll be like, I'm going to throw punch you.
I was going to say this is totally not like serious thing, but I was like, every time I used to watch HGTV, I used to see people like jumping into the drywall and just like breaking. And I've always thought, I was like, where are the studs? Like, for real.
You're like, that's not how that works.
Do not try that at home.
Well, because like, she's 100% right. They'll build false walls and put drywall up so people can run through them. So it's like a dramatic TV moment. But she's right. Where's the studs? Because they didn't put the studs in on purpose so that somebody could go through the wall and not get hurt. And that's like that level of like, because I don't know if Jess gave you the rundown. I almost twice had a HGTV show. And the last one, we actually went so far as we filmed the pilot. So like the whole crew came from California and it was this whole thing. And they said TV magic so many times. And I was like, no, there's no magic. We want people to see what it really takes and how long it takes and how much it actually costs. And they were just like, oh no, nobody wants to see that. And I'm like, no,
they need to.
We, the contractors, want to see that. We want people to be telling people the truth so that they know what to expect when the people who are just watching, the audience, goes out and tries to hire contractors. So that's... If you say Chip and JoJo in my presence, my vein will pop. It's my blood pressure vein, and it will pop.
And also another thing, it's whenever they move walls, take down walls, and moving walls is expensive. Like it's not just like a small thing. It's like you have to make sure you have to know that it's not load bearing. Or the engineer has to come out. So all these things, all these changes that they make to it, they make it look so easy, but it's not.
Yeah, they just get the evaluation. They're like, we're just going to move this over here.
Yeah, and some like screen comes up and just shows the wall being moved, and it's like, and that only costs $500. And I'm like, not in reality. I think that's the part that makes me the craziest is one, the staging of HGTV shows, and that they don't get to keep that. So specifically the Fixer Upper, Joanna Gaines is obviously a freaking baddie when it comes to design, interior design. And so, she would stage these houses and it would be like, oh my God, this is amazing. They would film, take all the pictures, and then come and take all the stuff out. And if the people wanted to keep any of the furniture, they had to pay like exorbitant amounts of money.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I did not know that.
So their final product
is not real.
Everything is not real. They have to.
Yeah, if they want to keep anything that she puts in there, they have to pay for it. Like, and that's why you'll see where they do like one thing that's a gift because that's the only thing they get to keep. This is the only thing they get to keep in all the stuff that they put in there. And like we actually reached out to the show once.
Oh my God.
And we specifically asked, and they're like, oh no, they take it all back after we're done filming. And I was like,
so that's why you see like the same
that you answered me and that was your answer. Because this is like, I think if you weren't in construction, why? I mean, you guys didn't even know that. She's in construction. You're not in construction. Why would you think that they would fill this house with like amazing furniture and then turn around and take it all back? Because that's what they do. So it really messes with people.
Because the person watching it, me, thinks that in their budget, I know the budget's not real, but I would have thought it included all the pretty things that they put in there.
Didn't include all. So that's where it's like, they're like, oh, and you think, oh, for $100,000, they got a brand new like every room renovated and every room furnished. No, the $100,000 barely covered one of the rooms. Wow, so crazy. I think for me, it's the staging that they end up taking back, and then just the not realistic prices that they give people. Like, oh, this subway tile costs $200. No, it didn't.
I love that they build walls and they just have people run through.
They'll have people run through them for the drama. It's a click. All right, so we're gonna do a little rapid fire moment before we close out. Permit or no permit?
Permit, always.
Oh, that's so Girl.
I was like, is this a trick question?
It was not, but you would be surprised. People are like, no, you don't need a permit for that. Okay, there's not a wrong answer here, but in your opinion, granite or quartz?
Ooh, I like quartz. I like the look of quartz more.
I think it's like they're getting so good with quartz now where they can make quartz look like natural stone. But what irritates me is now that people have figured out that you can do so many things with quartz can sometimes be more expensive than granite.
Oh.
So a lot of people are like, oh, quartz will be cheaper. No, it won't, because it's about what's popular, not about what would actually cost more to manufacture.
Right.
So
Supply and demand.
they're making a killing on the quartz because it's all man-made. So they don't have to go mine it. They don't have to do any of that. They can make it per order, especially if it's like a fancy custom made one, but then they charge you more. And it's like, okay, the math doesn't math there. Oh, here's a good one.
Luxury vinyl plank, yes or no?
Oh my gosh. I prefer hardwood, but
So it's a no.
but no, I don't. I've had so many issues with it.
Oh, okay.
In my properties, that it just a few years and you have to rip it out and do it again.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's just the amount of traffic. I don't know if it's just the
It
wear.
could be traffic.
But
Or the product. Because we have both in our house. We have wood and we have LVP. And let me tell you, with 4 dogs, one of them weighs 200 pounds. The wood is not holding up. Like we're having to sand it down and refinish it. Whereas with the LVP, it looks like it was installed yesterday. And I'm like, oh, that was great.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the situation, but
If you have
I do use
stinky
LVP.
dogs.
I do use LVP all the time. That's what I
It's
use.
so popular. It's
what I
so
use.
popular.
I love real hardwood floors. I have the stupid engineered hardwood floors in my
Wasn't
house.
as better than not. I mean, it depends. I actually like your hardwood floors. They're nice.
Yeah, except in the spots where, like, when I was vacuuming, a little piece of the wood was sticking up, and you run the vacuum over it, and the whole thing.
Whoopsie.
Yep.
That's like when you like have like a string
And you pull it.
you pull it and your like whole shirt falls off.
Yeah.
Not that kind of show, y'all.
Nope.
So thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on the show and for answering our questions. I'm thrilled that you're here. We hope obviously that we're going to put your contact information below. So if anybody's local and they're looking for a good GC that they can trust, we got your girl right here.
Awesome.
So obviously, if any of you are watching and you have had a not great story, a not great situation happen with your general contractor, or you use somebody who was like, permit? Meh. We want to hear your story. So you can go to chicksandconstruction.com. You can just scroll down. There's a little form you can fill out. And the more that you share your stories with us, we can share with our audience. And the less people can get screwed over, because learning the hard way is what?
Overrated.
So please do that. Also, we would love it if you would like on whatever platform that you're listening or watching. And please subscribe to our podcast, because it helps with the metrics and the algorithm and whatnots. And so that Jess can replace her bathtub with a
Exactly.
not bathtub.
With a bigger shower.
It's all about the Benjamins, y'all. Sorry, that was bad. I know nobody says that anymore. Jess,
she's
where
old.
can I am old because I'm old. Jess, where can they find us on the socials?
On Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, it's at Chicks and Construction Podcast. On YouTube, it's at Chicks and Construction. And Erika, where can we find you?
Yes.
Yes, on Instagram and Facebook, Hilltop GC.
Awesome.
And that's all I have.
And your website?
And my website's gchilltop.com.
Perfect.
GCHilltop.com, y'all. All right. We love you and we'll see you next time.
Bye.